Hi, my name's Jason Jadon. I'm a supporter of Fulham Football Club. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but my second home is the Cottage, and you're listening to DU Football Show.
So Jason really wanted to hear us cry. That's why he wanted to jump on today,
Yep.
you know. And you know what? Fair play. They beat the shit out of us, but he should be really nice. I'm planning on offering up my guest bedroom to him this fucking summer.
Yeah,
He
that's
should
true.
probably be a little more Fulhamish. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way, the man of many emotions and apparently has something to say, Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Feeling sarcastic, feeling satire-y, feeling all sorts of things that if people can't understand, keep your motherfucking mouth shut.
It's amazing the roller coaster an Arsenal fan goes on when there's a draw. Something about
It's
them.
the context of the whole thing.
Couple of blown 2-0 leads, man.
Come
Whew.
on, man. Just
Somebody wants
save
some
it for
Kentucky gentleman and wants to have some problems.
I just feel like that brand has connotations.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
At Whisky Sam on Instagram. It is at DU Football Show on all your social medias, actually. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as the closed group, which you need to be a part of because that's where all of the hashtag bans happen. That is Drunkards United FC on Facebook. Just inquire within, and you should be accepted.
Yeah.
And we have one simple rule in that page.
D-back.
D-back.
And also be aware that the page is based
About
around
the show. The whole
about
point is about the show.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So
people that tend to forget that, they just, contribute. And it's like, thanks for contributing. You know what else?
we already said that.
We do a fucking show. we talked about exactly that just the other night. You'd probably know.
Right. And make sure you tell your friends, and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we have an email. It's dufootballshow@gmail.com.
Very good. Which, Keith, he's learning the ways of email, man. He's gotten better. They're not as long, he's doing well.
Yeah.
I love, one of the things I personally love is like Keith, I listen to our boy Alan's Middle Class Souls.
Yep.
Keith constantly emails in and then he emails us. And then I'll listen to the American Toffee Pod with our boy Ryan. And of course, Brody chips in, says stuff on our show that says, I'm like, look at the little circle of people we all know. This is fucking great.
It's awesome. It's good. There is something I would like to mention for anyone that grew up in the Bowie area that's around my age, you'll or even relatively close to my age, you'll know this name. We lost a good man a couple weeks ago. Guy who's coached a bunch of youth sports, was an usher at the Bay Sox for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And regular contributor, caller to 107 The Fan.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Bubba Wheelock, Mike Wheelock. He was an awesome guy, just very cool dude. Succumbed to a lot of health problems.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, he was in the hospital for about 4 months, got out around St. Patrick's Day, and 8 days later passed away. And they just kind of made it public about 2 weeks ago. So we've coming up in May, they're going to do something at the Bay Sox Stadium for him for his, I think it's May. I don't remember what it is. I don't want to put bad information out.
Is this the same Bubba who also worked over at Ruby Tuesdays when it was open?
Might be.
Yeah, I know. If that's that Bubba who I think it is, then I knew Bubba very well.
Looks a lot like you, just shorter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I knew Bubba very well. Great fucking guy.
He was a very good
one
dude.
of the just kindest fucking human beings on the earth.
Love my dad. He and my dad coached together and against each other in Bowie Boys and Girls Club for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he ever had any kids himself, just loved sports and wanted to make sure kids kept playing them.
Yeah, just a good human
Just
being.
a good dude.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds sketch from a, middle-aged single man. Not one ever single accusation of anything,
Yeah, just good.
sour.
A
Just
good
a
dude.
good
Just
dude.
a good dude.
Yeah, and it goes to, it just,
Good to know those people still do exist.
still exist. Yeah, exactly. So, so shout out to him. And we'll miss you, buddy.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've had to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Sorry there, Casey Kasem. There was no way to come out of that transition cleanly. We continue as we almost finish the top 20 of 2022. We are on to number 3. And this one's an interesting one because this is a brand both you and I have had feelings about before.
Yes, we have. And I was going to say, you stole my thunder on that one-liner. I was going to say that we're drinking a hefty transition bourbon. So this is number 3 on Whisky Advocates list. This is the Barrel Vantage blend of straight Mizunara, French, and toasted American oak finished. So Barrel is the name of the brand. It got a panel rating of 95. It should run you around $90. I think it cost us about $100.
It was 90. Yeah, because I got it at Lax in Beltsville, and they do fucking killer prices on everything.
Right. And 57.22%, that would be 114.44% by volume, or proof, I'm sorry. So your blurb comes to you from Ted Simmons. Already an established force in the world of blending, Barrel Craft Spirits has demonstrated its finishing prowess with a series of creative releases that marry different cask types together. Vantage is the most recent, and to us, the most successful. The nose has a bake shop sweetness with aromas of sugar cookie, nutty chocolate brownies, and funfetti cake, plus earthy dried tobacco leaves and strawberry candies underneath. The creamy palate delivers rich chocolate, red hots, like the candy red hots, not the hot relish.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. And with water added, dried leaves and snickerdoodles. Big cinnamon spice on the finish ties this one up beautifully. And I think I told you they gave it a 95.
Yeah, 95.
So let's. What do you think?
This is also one readily available. You can find this on the shelves. So my kind of meh towards Barrel has always been I like the things they do. I think sometimes they do too much. And they're also, as a brand, kind of hard to read, right? It's like, if you're going to buy a bottle of Barrel, you have to sit there and look at the 6 different bottles of Barrel and read each one, the fine print, to figure out what the fuck it is. It's just confusing. But
There's
that's
a lot going on with
that's
it.
my own hang up, much like Melissa, a lot going on. And with this one, I was concerned that French oak, Mizunara oak, and toasted oak was gonna, like, the flavors would get lost because each one of those, toasted oak right now is very much the hot chick as far as finishing goes.
Yep.
And Mizunara was the hot chick 2 years ago.
Correct.
French oak's always been a barrel that people love to work with on finishing, but I was afraid that this wasn't gonna have, it was gonna be cluttered and confusing. It's not. It's phenomenal. It is a home fucking run for me.
The French oak gets lost on me a bit here. The Mizunara.
The French oak, honestly, it's just going to give it. It's going to give it roundness. That's what the French oak's going to do.
The Mizunara stands out up front, and then that kind of, it's almost artificial cinnamon to me because it kind of tastes like
Red Hots.
Well, it tastes like Captain Crunch cereal.
Yeah.
Toasted oak finishes to me taste like Captain Crunch cereal. That just kind of, but it's good. It's very good.
I always get a lot of creme brulee out of a
creme brulee is a good shout. There is a creaminess to it. There's almost and just being bourbon in general, you're always going to have that little bit of vanilla and caramel anyway, and they play very well with the toasted finish regardless. Because you get that cinnamon and kind of creates that creme brulee sort of flavor profile.
What do you think, Mel?
I don't get snicker anything, but the creme brulee and the cinnamon and the creaminess comes through. Christian was watching, and he thinks that is a very legit criticism on the barrel.
Yeah, we've talked about it with Christian about that before too, and it's that's always been my thing. It's like, and I'm not going to put down, $75 to $100 on a bottle that I'm just not sure about.
Yeah.
Is my typical problem with them. And like I said, I just don't think branding wise,
because none of them are
their
cheap.
message does not come across very clear. It's like, they all look the same. They kind of have the bottle shape's the same. They all have different colors to their label, but like, how is this really any different than the Dovetail?
Right.
It's kind of the same, right?
Yep.
And if you ask me off the top of my head, like, what's in the Dovetail? I don't remember.
Exactly. Yeah.
I drank it. It was decent. I don't remember.
You know what? My criticism would be how high it is on the list, to be honest with you. It's enjoyable. It's a very good whiskey. I'd be comfortable with it between 8th and 11th.
Okay. What do you say? Like maybe like the Blue Note possibly better as a bourbon?
Yeah, it's just something that was more memorable about it. It's something that was. I mean, this has good flavors. This has good roundness. It's got good balance. But like you said, in 6 months, am I going to be like, man, I really wish I had another bottle of Barrel?
Yeah,
probably not.
I do. I will say I thought they hit it out of the park with this. I think the flavors
it's a good
are there.
bourbon. Don't get me wrong. I like it, and the flavors stand out, and you can pick out what the other two finishes are really supposed to be bringing to the table because they add flavor.
Right.
Like you said with the French, it just adds texture, but the other ones add flavor, and you can definitely pick that out. That's absolutely true. It's just like,
yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You think there's other whiskeys you've had in the top 10 that you would put ahead of it?
yes.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's the beauty of this list. It's meant to be debated.
If someone offered it to me, I wouldn't turn it down. It's good. Don't get me wrong.
I would tell people to buy this bottle. If you see this bottle in the wild, go ahead and buy it. If it's under $100,
It's something. It's something
if it's
you should
$120,
try.
don't.
It's something you should try because it's a multi-finish situation where each barrel does add something. Because there's a lot of multi-finishes where it all gets lost, jumbled, screwed up, like you said.
Yeah, it gets very cluttered. And I was afraid this was going to get cluttered. This is not cluttered.
But this is something, it's good. You should try it. This is a well-done, multi-finished product. Go ahead.
Christian wants to know, and you probably will agree with us, it's the Napa Cab of the list.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
I don't mind that
like
at all.
Big Napa Cab always gets in the top 5 kind of thing. Yep, something.
He also said, nice shirt.
Thank you very much. It's the only problem is
It's a lot higher than
27.9% of the time. I haven't been that. I've been that in a minute.
that would be a
I
miracle.
have not been that in a fucking minute. That is for damn sure. Well, Mr. Graham, what else do we have to do? Good
Always
sir?
remember to drink responsibly, everyone.
Love it. Cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. Not bad. Mel's ice all clunking around. That's a lovely little background noise. I don't mind it. Do you need a little more whiskey, Mrs. Houston, or are you good?
Let's wait and see.
Okay, let's wait and see. Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I do want more whiskey because I'm definitely not doing Malort ever again.
Somebody's feeling a little ballsy,
You
aren't
want
they?
to bet on that?
I mean, would you have bet on the streak we're having right now?
So I have a complaint about Ollie Watkins.
All right, well then let me go ahead. You'll be able to voice that complaint very, very quickly. The fight for Champions League is heating up, and don't look now. There's a new team to add to the mix. Aston Villa 3, Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 3, Tottenham 2, Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 0. I'm not sure if you guys were aware of this. I just wanted to, it's something new. I want to tell you about it. Villa Fox.
Yeah,
Villa Fox.
They definitely do.
Good Lord.
So my complaint about Ollie Watkins and why he will never be England's number 1.
Uh-huh.
You ready? He looks like a child. He is not intimidating in any way, shape, or form.
That's
Also,
his secret power.
Here's the thing. Harry Kane looks like a fucking goblin, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, fine. He also has the numbers to back it up over an extended period of time.
Right.
Ivan Toney carries himself with a swagger that you can't beat that confidence. When Ollie Watkins scores, he looks surprised himself. And I think that plays on Gareth Southgate's mind.
You're only saying that because the second time you scored, the first one was called back, and he just stood there for a moment and was like, so is this a thing or what?
Yeah, he just looks surprised every time it happens. So he does this kind of like, he'll just look away and then he'll be like, and then smile. And it's like, dude, own it.
Yeah.
Like Ivan Toney does something cool and then just like, that's me. I
Yeah.
got this. No problem.
It's like, oh, what stadium am I in? I'm going to mock somebody else's fucking
or just brush
celebration.
his shoulders off or whatever. Like, no problem. I got this. This is me. Hey, hope y'all bet on it. I did. That kind of thing.
Oh, no shit.
Callum Wilson is physically imposing and looks intimidating.
Right.
And can't stay fit to save his life, but he would be in the England frame. He went to the World Cup, but if he could stay fully fit all the time, I think he'd be in the conversation. I just think Ollie Watkins, if he had a different demeanor, might regularly feature in the squad.
I scored 2 in this one relatively easily. Had a third called back.
Southgate's been there quite a bit watching some Villa games with goo eyes.
Huh? It's, dare we say, the most informed team right now is Aston Villa, even more so than
I think
City.
it probably is.
Organized.
Like,
that's what the commentators kept saying.
Well,
I
here's
like
the other
that.
thing.
We're organized.
But here's the other thing too. City, you expect it.
Right.
They're the machine. I mean, it's like, what's that publication surrounding the Washington Capitals that focuses on Ovies, like Russian machine keeps moving and trucking along or whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
That's City, right? You get that mindset from City. It's just, okay, yeah, it's City. That's, the standards are ridiculous. Besides that, yes, absolutely. There's an
Team
argument.
was in an 11th a month ago.
There's an argument for Brighton.
Yeah.
In that conversation,
But they've had a little
yo-yo here and there. Yeah. But
I mean, a ref missing 5 very deliberate calls doesn't help them either.
No, not at all. But that's, absolutely Villa are in form. They completely bossed this midfield.
Oh, absolutely.
In this game, Newcastle couldn't get a sniff.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to notice about Newcastle is there's been a bit of a fall off with them on the road lately. Like they had that game at home against United, and you're like, this team's every bit a Champions League team. And then they've played a few on the road where they just got it. Like in this one, this looked like a Villa, a team vying for Champions League, playing a team battling relegation. Like Newcastle offered absolutely zero in this match. Martinez made a couple of saves, but this was all fucking Villa.
Yeah, absolutely it was. I enjoyed.
Dare I say all Villa, no Villa? That's the Villa podcast, by the way. Shout out to you guys.
Boo. Just boo.
All right, Arsenal.
It's not your mute or it's your choice on the big show there, sweet cheeks.
I enjoy Emi Martinez and his antics.
He's such a shithouser.
Somebody was I can't remember which player it was, but they asked them about Unai Emery and the impact he's had or whatever. And they were like, oh yeah, he's been great, this, that, the other. He's making us think about our guy. I think it might actually have been Ollie Watkins. And he was like, I feel like I'm doing actually less work up there than I was because he's very good at picking out our individual strengths and finding a system that plays to all of those strengths and kind of masks some of our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the pressing, a lot of the stuff that he was doing was covered up now by the midfield working extra hard. But he's tailored, the system Emery has to Watkins. Your job is to make these very specific runs at these very specific times in these very specific situations, and it's paying dividends, right? Yeah. Emi Martinez, when asked the same question, just went, yeah, we finally have a good coach. All right. Fuck me.
Fuck you, Liverpool fucking world footballing legend, Steven Gerrard. We finally have a good coach.
Yeah.
Damn!
I mean, it's like he was. I'm surprised he wasn't holding a baby effigy of Steven Gerrard like he did Kylian Mbappe.
And then dropped him.
Not wrong. Yeah. It's all of the exact same players except for Alex.
Yeah, Alex Moreno.
Who's been excellent, by the way.
We're there under the last 2 managers.
Yeah.
Who's been excellent.
Yeah, he really has been.
God.
Really
Alex Moreno's been fucking phenomenal.
Swept him up on my fantasy team. He got me 12 points this week.
Yeah, he's
Digne's starting to show age a little bit. He's getting up there to about 30, and he's starting to lose a little bit of pace. Yeah, you get yourself someone else, and You know, that's the harshness of the game is you can have someone who's really good for a couple of years, and then when they start to fall off, that's it. It's done. You move on.
Ashley Young is starting to show his age. Fortunately, Matty
Starting to show his
Cash.
age. He's 37 or some shit.
He's still younger than Danny Ings.
The 55-year-old Danny Ings.
But Cash should be back next week, so I expect to be have to buy more condoms for the team.
Continuing with the thought process, Sam, of earlier of teams getting 5 penalties, 5 missed calls to be able to sneak out a victory.
We're talking about Arsenal now?
Or we could just do what the Cherry said and said, fuck you and all the fucking shadiness you want to do, because goal number 2 was fucking offsides.
Yeah.
And beat you at the fucking death, because that is what Bournemouth did.
What composure for that final goal as well.
Well, and just for them to keep it together. Spurs went up, then Bournemouth drew, and then Bournemouth went up 2-1. And that goal from Danjuma was a great hit. Harry Kane was in the direct sight line of, and how the fuck that's not called offsides? He's on the 6 and he's moving towards the ball and then stops right as the ball goes by him with the goalkeeper behind him. And the goalkeeper did not see that fucking ball.
No, but
it was offsides.
I think it probably should have been offsides, yes. But when you look at the angle from behind Danjuma, the ball actually passes behind Harry Kane, not in front of him. And I think that may have swayed the VAR. However, VAR is shit. And I don't want to get into a VAR debate because they're absolute dog shit. Today, Trent Alexander-Arnold's handball shouldn't have counted. That goal should not have stood. That was a blatant handball on halfway.
Yep.
It was almost like a hockey player trying to catch a puck at the blue line.
Knock it down real quick.
And knock it down to himself.
Yep.
It's a fucking farce is what it is.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I can think of to maybe make this make sense is the ball passed behind Harry Kane instead of in front of him.
Yeah.
That's it.
My problem
it's bollocks.
Kane ran into the play is the problem.
It's bollocks.
He ran at the ball into the play. That's it. Like how again, remember
he affected somebody doing their job.
Gylfi Sigurdsson sitting on the ground with fucking hey, you heard, right?
No.
No further investigation. Charges are gone. They
I was going to say, let's not bring this up.
Not continuing, and
That's
nothing
good.
came of it.
All right, great.
They didn't even say his name in the release. They were just like, there's a footballer that's not being pursued or stopping the investigation. So that's all they, because that's how the fucking press is in England until you're
Well, they'll name you to begin
with.
Yeah, they'll name you to begin with, and then they won't tell you when everything's clear.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that could be Mason Greenwood. That could be Gylfi. That could be any number.
So, but like I said, Gylfi was sitting on the ground, and you have 6'4" David De Gea looking right at the shot, but apparently he was, blinded from seeing and Harry Kane ran at the fucking ball. Like, there's no way in hell that Neto is not looking at Kane running in that situation. He's running right in front of you. You have to.
I don't disagree with you. Like I said, I'm just not getting into the tit for tat because it's different VARs.
Yeah.
It's different VARs. It's different human beings. This type of shit happened before VAR, and we thought this was going to fix it, but instead of a clear and obvious error, they do the British awkward, I don't want to step on anyone's toes bullshit, and it just becomes a farce.
Or it could be the fact that Brighton and Villa could potentially be in Europe, and Tottenham could be in the McRib, and frickin' Liverpool could not even be in Europe. That might have something to do with it as well.
It could be. I'm not going full conspiracy theorist because my club's one that's been apologized to already this season, and if they weren't apologized to and their call went the way it was supposed to go, we'd be fucking champions. But I'm not doing that because I don't need to do that.
Yeah, you just did it, so it's okay.
At the end of the day, what do we always tell the teams that we coached? What do we practice ourselves? You got to play through it and play to the whistle.
Yep, and can't let it stop you.
It is a farce.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a fucking farce.
Yep.
But luckily here for Bournemouth, they came through it. And of the bottom, say, 8 teams, I think Bournemouth are the form team down there, besides Palace, obviously.
Four
with their
of
3
the
wins.
last 6.
But 4 of their last 6 were wins. 2 of them, obviously, in a row.
Yeah.
But it's
beating Liverpool, beating Tottenham.
But even you start with the Arsenal game in that run, and you go, well, they never gave up. right? They took that lead initially.
It was at the death. It was at the death that you,
and it was a bit of fortune that came.
Yeah,
right. That Arsenal won that game, but they never let their heads drop. Even when Arsenal got back into the game, they never let their heads drop. They kept pushing, and their performances are now starting to get over the line. Where that was the first one we saw where they didn't roll over like a dead something.
We'll get into the other teams.
Rabbit.
We'll get into the other teams in OSO that happened when we talk about the bottom of the table, but they've all but played themselves into safety. If they don't fuck it off, they're probably going to be safe.
If they continue putting in performances like this, I'm not even talking about the wins necessarily, but they keep this never say die attitude, they keep this moving, they're going to be fine.
You know something that isn't speculative?
What's that?
Maybe, just maybe, Antonio Conte was fucking right.
Oh, yeah, of course he was right.
That team is gutless.
Of course he was right.
They don't know how to win.
I've been telling you that for years.
God, behind the curtain, Sam always takes the Liverpool side to get a goat on me, and I always take the Spud side to get the goat on him. No, I can't defend Spurs. I can't think they're getting lucky with calls that are being handed to them. 5 complaints in the Brighton match. That was definitely an offside. I mean, they're getting it handed to them.
And they can't do it.
And they're still fucking it off.
Yeah.
They're still fucking it off.
But their history doesn't show anything. At least when I defend Liverpool, they at least have some illustrious history to fall back on.
It's inexplicable.
Tottenham don't.
Give credit to fucking Liverpool. They have one more Premier League title than the Spurs do, and they have the same amount as Leicester and fucking Blackburn. You're right. That rich Premier League history.
Well, it's just the history in general. I mean, Spurs have won 4 trophies in their history or something like that.
Yeah. Sam.
I think it's more than that.
We've won more trophies than they have.
Exactly my point.
Yeah,
they're playing, at the same level as that small club down the road.
Well, who would have thought Casemiro and Eriksen make a difference at Manchester United?
Make a difference in Bruno Fernandes. Look at his entire fucking attitude the entire game. Mm-hmm. He tried hard. He was decisive. He was creative.
The only thing
he didn't bitch at the referee.
The only thing he didn't do was score. He had 4 or 5 brilliant opportunities to, and Keylor Navas still fucking got it. Jesus Christ, this game would have been
phenomenal saves.
A lot worse. But a lot worse if it wasn't for him.
Easy for United.
Forest played
down the field here and there. Okay, gave them something to think about, especially with Harry Maguire in the back line. Which, by the way,
the back line
mark
really
your fucking calendars.
Hurt.
Harry Maguire, no own goals, and pitched a shutout.
Holy shit.
For the first time in what seems like his 80 million move from Leicester.
He pointing to things going, look what I did.
He gets made. That video resurfaced of him getting made fun of in Ghana's parliament.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That resurfaced, which was quite funny. But Manchester United were good in this game, but Forest didn't offer much. I mean, once they got to the final third, they just kind of went spaz. Not a single shot on target. So they really had no clear-cut opportunities. There were some decent flashes of football they've been playing over the last couple of months, but I mean, the final product was just nil. It was just not there.
I think they're going to really have to ride on the back of Keylor Navas, keeping them in games, and hopefully they go up early. That's really what they're going to have to live and die by. There's other teams.
But they're writing themselves in the conversation very quickly, and it's not a good thing.
There's other teams in the bottom, like Leicester and Leeds. You go, well, at least they can score a lot of fucking goals, right?
They got something to fall back on.
And you look at a team like Everton, unfortunately not representative of their last 2 matches, but typically they're pretty stout and they're going to be aggressive and they're going to give you a hard time and you're going to have to fight to win. I'm not seeing any of that out of Forest other than, Keylor Navas made a fuck ton of saves.
Right, exactly.
There's about the only thing I'm seeing. Here's the thing with Champions League. It's not decided yet because Villa's now only 3 points away from catching Tottenham, and Tottenham's capable of losing now every week, it seems. And with the inconsistency of Newcastle, they're only 6 points behind them. And Brighton still, they're 2 points behind Villa, but with 2 games in hand. And Liverpool's not out of the discussion, but they only have 1 game in hand. And Europe is not decided yet, and there is going to be some very good teams on the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing within that is, and partially it kind of bleeds into Newcastle's inconsistency and Arsenal's recent downturn in form. I think subconsciously both teams are way ahead of schedule in their various projects. And I don't think the players do it on purpose, obviously, because they want to achieve what they want to achieve, right, in their professional career. But something has to be said for, oh, man, life's pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And a little bit of, kind of inertia creeping in. And they just go, yeah, I mean, we can kick our feet up, especially with the swagger that Arsenal starts with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2-0 again. Look at this. We'll just cruise to another win. And then all of a sudden the game gets away from them and you're playing in quicksand. And you try to do stuff, but the tide's already turned. You're away from home in two hostile environments.
Hey, settle down, killer. We're going to get to your team in just a second.
I want to talk about them now.
Fine, fuck you, we will. Top of the table just got a little bit closer as the Gunners drop points for the second straight week. Manchester City 3, Leicester 1, Arsenal 2, West Ham 2. City coast, man. 3 in the first half. They could have scored fucking 6 if they wanted to.
Scored 6.
They subbed everybody out at the within the essentially 60-minute mark. They had pretty much used all 5 of their subs and gotten everybody off the pitch.
It's kind of what I'm talking about with, but for those first 20 minutes of the second half, they had the chances. They just didn't do it.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like with Arsenal and Newcastle, you kind of get that feeling like, when you're 2-3-0 up and you're like, all right, well, I'm just going to cruise on to victory again. Difference is City's backline's a little bit better than everybody else's, and they held it, or did enough to hold it until, when Iniacho got his goal against his former club. But I was excited when Arsenal started 2-0. I said, we can make up a lot of this goal difference. This is going to be great. This is going to be a good day. And then they just decided to go to sleep. Yeah. Just fall back within themselves and coast and cruise.
Dumb penalty.
You've got to keep your fucking thumb on them. You got to keep your foot on their throat.
Dumb. But before we get to Arsenal, just real quick, I want to say with the Foxes, they seem to be wanting to dig their own grave. The only positive that comes out of it is that they did get that one goal. And of the 5 teams that we'll talk about in So That Happened that are squarely in the relegation battle, they do have the best goal differential. Well, and that's the only thing that's going to save them if they stay up.
Well, here's the other thing about them. Dean Smith comes in, right? And he's trying to put in a game plan. And it was very obviously to sit back. He had a bank of 4 and a bank of 5. And then James Maddison and Vardy up top to try to run around and do something.
Yeah.
And those 9 players, right? Even Maddison included to a certain extent, right? Because he was kind of trapped within his own third.
Mm-hmm.
We're undone within 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then undone again within 15.
Yeah, and this is the new coach that's supposed to fix that problem.
And then undone again before halftime. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like I said, they're digging their own grave. They really are digging their own grave.
It just doesn't make a ton of sense. The way we've seen teams do stuff like Newcastle earlier in the season with that 3-3 and the couple of teams that have beaten City, they've done it by taking it to them. If you sit back, they have the players to unlock the box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a criticism levied at Arsenal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is when you sit 10 behind the ball, which West Ham did, we looked devoid of ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. After they equalized, we looked devoid of ideas. Now, we got that penalty and we missed it.
Yeah.
But City always find that way through.
Yeah, they do.
And that's partially, youth versus experience when we compare the two clubs. And that's kind of why I'm talking about them collectively.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot of the same things. Obviously, Arteta being assistant to Pep for the last few years, run a lot of the same system and everything else. But our youth versus their experience we've not been able to keep up here in these last few weeks. We're starting to wane, and it's that kind of inertia setting in where we take our foot off the gas, but City keep their foot on their throat.
Dumb fucking penalty from Gabriel.
Yes.
It's like he slid in realized he shouldn't slid
When
in.
did Rob Holding win it?
No, it was Gab. It was.
Rob Holding was last week.
Gabriel.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
he kind of slid into him, but then decided not to slide. So he stuck his knees into the ground and still popped up upright and knocked him over. And it was like, he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Wait, stop! No, fuck, foul."
Yeah, he already made the choice. Yeah,
fucker, you might as well just slide through and hope you get the ball. And the ref looks at VAR and says no.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Looks at that pretty badge of yours and goes, "Oh man, they're a Big Six side. We should probably make sure that doesn't get called a penalty."
And then we'll get issued another apology.
But no, that's what turned it. You're right. It was you had that 2-0 lead. Saka's been nailing penalties for you all season, and for anybody that wants to start fucking screaming about, well, he missed one in the Euro or the World Cup, and here he's missing here, and all, stop it.
Shut up. Yeah,
stop it. Just stop it.
Well, those doing that are probably a racist.
This is England's best. This is England's best young talent.
For sure.
And arguably the best English player in the country.
Hands down.
Like, it's not debatable. So shut the fuck up. Here's my big question for you. 2-0 lead to lose it again, 2 weeks in a row. Is this a fucking problem for you guys?
Well, it hasn't been all season. That's part of the issue is we've been also very good at responding to setbacks, right? Like the Bournemouth scoring in that first 15 seconds or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. We came back and won the game. Now, it took every bit of 96 minutes, but we came back and won the game. We responded to the adversity. These last 2 weeks, we haven't been able to respond to being ahead. Yeah. And that's where I'm thinking that youth is coming into play and the kind of cruise control that we were on. It's very hard once you switch off during a game. I mean, we're knocking a ball around to the tune of Olé from the Arsenal supporters at Anfield.
Yeah.
We were doing the same in the London Stadium in the first 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
Against West Ham. Knocking the ball around, the supporters are having a laugh, drinking beers, ole.
Yeah.
As we touch the ball around. Well, so what happened? Well, what happened is they switch off. They stop.
Mm-hmm.
We get scored on. Once you stop, once you lose that intensity, it's very difficult in game to get it back, especially away from home. That stadium starts rocking. You get 40,000 people screaming at you how bad you suck and everything else, and drowning your own fans out. You're in trouble. And that's exactly what's happened again. So what they need to do is find a bit of maturity, find a bit of ruthlessness, and stand on these people's throats. Because the way that opening 10 minutes went at West Ham, we should have won this game 5-0, and City would only have a 2-goal differential lead on us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
They would
You're
only
not
be
wrong.
+2 to us, and we would have our destiny essentially in our own hands with less of a chance that goal difference was going to fuck us at the end.
Well,
could still, but less of a chance that they would fuck us in the end. Now we find ourselves in a position we have to go to the Etihad and get something.
Now,
and if we don't, we're fucked.
That's where I was going to say now.
Or we have to rely on y'all.
Well, they did.
That's the only.
They did draw us once already.
The two teams that are in the relegation battle that they have to play, they do it at home.
Yeah. No, they play us in our building.
No, I'm talking about the other.
Where those buildings will be loud and crazy.
Where a team is trying to fight for their life.
Yeah.
You all I'm praying for right now is a Sean Dice special. A 1-1 against City at Goodison Park. Everton stays up, Arsenal win the league, and I gotta fucking bow down and kiss your fucking feet.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love that. Tell you what, Grammy, it's very simple. You have the title is still yours to be won. Just
we got to do it in their building now.
Can't make any more mistakes. You've run out of mistakes.
Yep.
Rounding out the rest of the league, so that happened. Brighton 2, Chelsea 1, Fulham 3, Everton 1, Palace 2, Southampton 0, Wolverhampton 2, Brentford 0, Liverpool 6, Leeds 1. The Seagulls dominated. The scoreline does not give it any justice. The Seagulls fucking manhandled Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea started fine, actually. It was decent, and then they took the lead. Now, granted, it was by massive deflection.
Yeah.
And I guess 87 million pounds gets you a 5-yard pass that they'll count as an assist.
And they took the lead just after Seagulls had just put it wide and put it off the post.
Right. Yeah. But regardless, they took the lead. They had it at home. They had it.
And then the Seagulls said,
"In my way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself."
and Brighton just,
and that's with two
such a
injuries.
joy.
2 injuries in the first half.
Just
Veltman
such-
and Ferguson go out.
Such a joy to watch. They're always on it. They're so much fun to watch.
Yeah, they really are. They
And
really are.
You saw what it meant to Enciso.
Mm-hmm.
Full
That
time, that was a rocket. Full time, drops to his knee, starts crying.
Yeah, that was
And
first Premier League goal.
He's another player that Brighton have just found. He didn't have any European club experience. He came straight from Paraguay.
Yeah.
And then pulls out of the bag.
Dirt cheap. It's
now,
amazing. What they get.
did you hear De Zerbi's comments?
No, I did not.
He was very full of praise for Graham Potter and laying the foundations of Brighton. Very easy to say. Yeah. Not so subtle dig. And then, but he talked about Enciso and said that his performance following his goal dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to make sure that he stays committed and stays to the game plan and does everything that he's supposed to do to remain a part of the team, because if he doesn't, this could have gone a very different way.
Yeah. Well,
Chelsea had a chance or two.
Yeah, you talk about, Brighton, we were always wondering who's going to be the striker, right? Mopé never really panned out. Welbeck's just there as a stopgap, and is an older player.
Scored again today.
Ferguson's really starting to come into form, but he's young.
19.
This kid,
he could be very good.
Could be very good.
And
McAllister's
trying to keep his feet on the ground. Yeah.
McAllister's really starting to learn how to fucking play that 10 behind those guys and weave in and out and find spaces. Again, Solly March has had a banger of a year, and Matomo is the fucking, if it wasn't for Erling Haaland, right? Like you have to say that's the best signing by any club this year. It would be Matomo if it wasn't for Erling Haaland. No doubt about it. I can already tell you right now when we read our list, Erling Haaland number 1, Matomo number 2.
Right.
I could tell you that already. The best
can't
signings.
necessarily disagree with that.
Like, hands down. Just absolutely.
What I will say, too, is I found it especially poignant that young, attractive, Latin man, little flash with some tattoos, scores a rocket in the 69th minute. That's right. Draw hard around it. And then jumps up in the crowd and is just orchestrating the celebrations. The only thing that was missing was a fat cigar from that scene. And it was fucking lovely.
Bloody fucking brilliant. You can be without Decore. You clearly cannot be without Decore and Onana. Fulham fucking...
What's his name?
Exactly. Fulham bossed this match.
Yes.
They bossed it. And
y'all had a ton of chances.
okay, Everton was in it until the halftime whistle, and then Dyche's team talk did not work, and fucking what's-a-facer's team talk did work.
I mean, you can't hear him through the...
Marco gave it over phone down to the locker room, but it worked. And it was, yes, dumb mistakes by Everton that led to goals, because a lot of it was the trail man, who should be covering the trail man? The midfielders. Nothing against James Garner. He's still very young. You can't ask Idrissa Gana Gueye to cover everybody. Who would have been there? Decore and Onana. Probably not getting those opportunities.
Right.
But Fulham still took advantage of it. And Fulham has been on a flat-out downward slide, big time. And since losing Mitrovic and losing Willian, who finally came back this week, and losing Marco Silva as well to a touchline ban, like all of that, that's really affected them. And to have that kind of response at a club that is fighting to stay up in a building that's tough to play in, fucking all the credit goes to fucking Fulham.
Well, absolutely.
They got it done.
They took their chances. They capitalized on your mistakes, and that's exactly what they were. But what I'm saying about y'all's performance, you were almost dead even on possession. The Premier League has you rated 46.5 to their 53.5. Both of you had 7 shots on target. Now, overall shots, y'all only had 15. They had 21. So you actually had a better ratio on target than they did.
Yeah.
But like the first one, that Karoon's back off somebody, hits the instep of somebody trying to stop real fast. I can't remember who it was. And then just falling to Harry Wilson or whoever.
Yeah.
Randomly on his own inside the box.
Yeah.
Just like...
Was off the post, bounced back in, bounced around a couple of people.
But just that kind of stupid shit. You got to be able to stop the bleed of that stupid shit.
Yeah, that ball's got to go away.
Well,
it's just got to go away.
When you're looking at a team that is much better than you this season in general, right?
Yeah.
And you put up these numbers, you got to come away from the game with something.
One of those problems also, too, is Neil Maupay has 2 wide open opportunities.
And doesn't do it.
And puts them both right into the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
You have to do something here.
Yeah, you got, Everton scores those goals, maybe a different story.
If
but
you don't do something here, Jordan Pickford's going to lose to 2 Arsenal goalkeepers in a week.
Yeah.
Burn Leno,
yes,
obviously.
Yes.
And then the next international break, Aaron Ramsdale, because he deserves to be England's number 1.
Oh, heard. Okay, very good. So with that being said, had a great time hanging out with Jay. We watched the match at Dark Horse together and had a great time. But the sad part is it now makes this next game at Palace a must get points. And the problem is Palace is sitting on that magic number now of 36. And one more win means you're probably safe. And they've been on a roll of 3 in a row. They're probably going to be really fired up to get this fucking game at home and know that they're safe. So
know that they're done, yep.
Yeah, so it's a tough spot for Everton to be in, but they're going to have to fucking find magic again. And we did it against Palace last year. Maybe we do it against Palace this year.
Before you do your shot, where's Calvert-Lewin?
He has been training. He did not make the bench. He is apparently that far away from being in the lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, we fucking need him.
Oh, yeah.
Would be perfect. Have him play against Palace. He seems like to score fucking at the death fucking winners
shit.
there. Here we go. Up the fucking toffees.
Well, let's hope for him. We obviously don't want them to go down as a collective. That would make the show awkward.
Yeah,
it's like doing a show with your ex.
I'll run Championship Corner. That'll be for damn sure. Going in, I kind of want to talk about these two together. Crystal Palace and Southampton and Wolves Brentford. These are games you needed, right? So particularly for Palace and Wolves, I think both of these wins, point-wise, they're definitely out of this. It's now 5 instead of 9 teams in the relegation battle. Not to say that West Ham or Bournemouth or even Wolves or Palace can't get pulled back in, but now it takes multiple mistakes on their part to get pulled back in, as opposed to, oh shit, we lost one game and suddenly we're in 18th. We were in 12th. That separation starting to happen for very quickly with Southampton, because there's really not much to say. You're at home. Your back is against the wall.
It's got to be better than this.
If you're going, and there was opportunity, they had chances, but if you're going to stay up, this isn't enough for this. Is the game you have to win. But really, you have to win. It's not a draw. It's not anything. You have to win this game.
After those first 8 minutes or so, Southampton didn't really offer much for me, to be honest with you.
And the one thing I guess you could say for Roy the boy, he's letting Ezzy play, and Vieira wasn't. Yeah. And Ezzy is on fucking fire.
Big surprise.
Yeah, Ezzy's a good player. Go figure.
When asked in the post-match about taking over from Patrick Vieira and everything else, did you see what
no, I did not.
Raja said?
Our boss? He's our boss?
Oh, no. What he said was, who is that? Who is that?
The wise old owl.
Long way around for that one.
It was a stretch. It was a stretch.
That's pretty good. Hey. Don't shake your head. That was good.
Hey, Graham. Not your best effort.
Come on.
But like I said, for Palace and Wolves, because also in the Wolves match, Brentford played Wolves very tight. They just couldn't seem to get it in the back of the net.
You know what I heard? And this is the perfect description of this goal that I would have never thought to say. I would have never thought of this collection of words in that order. Okay? Diego Costa obviously got his first goal for Wolves, his first goal of the season this late on. I know, big surprise. But somebody called it an own goal with a massive deflection. Because that's what it was. Diego Costa tried to played a 1-2, had a bad touch, and the Brentford defender got there and booted it to try to clear it. But how slow Costa was actually helped them to be in the space by the time that he cleared it, and it hit off of him and crooned into the back of the net.
As he was sticking out his leg to block it. Boom, back into the back of the net. Goal. How you doing?
An own goal with a massive deflection.
And
I was like, I would have never thought of that.
It's a good call.
That's
a good
fucking
shout.
brilliant.
I mean, what do we think here, Sam? We think Crystal Palace and Wolves are now safe.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I think it's going to be a relatively low point total to keep people in the league this year. I think you're looking 35, 38 points at the most.
I wouldn't disagree. I would say 35 probably keeps you in the league.
I think Wolves are on 34 now after this win.
And Palace are on 33.
I could tell you right now.
I'm sorry, Palace are on 36.
Palace are
and it's
on 36 points.
Bournemouth and West Ham that are on, I think, 33 and 31 respectively.
Only 3 points behind Chelsea Palace.
Yeah. Wow.
By the way.
Wow.
Yeah, bad, right? And actually, Chelsea are only ahead of them by 6 goals.
Holy shit.
In goal differential. You could see Chelsea finish way worse. And then Wolves are now on 34 points, exactly right. Now, West Ham do have a game in hand and could tie them and do have a better goal differential, so Wolves could end up being a little bit lower than that if the ferryman continues his magic. But yeah, I mean, you got to think they're safe. Bournemouth with another win are probably safe. So really now I think you're looking down
5
towards
teams.
Leeds, Everton, Forest, Leicester, and Southampton.
Yep.
Of those, I think Forest, Leicester, and Southampton are the worst.
Yeah.
But Leeds are shipping goals left, right, and center. And for every motherfucking thing that they had going for them in terms of goal differential down the bottom, they've given up in 2 straight games.
It's gone. It's
gone.
gone.
I know we're not there yet.
No,
we'll
we're about to. We
it.
are about to go there. We've said what we're going to say about Wolves and Palace, and for respectively for Brentford, they're just playing out the season now.
But y'all don't score goals,
right?
And you're only 2 behind Leeds now in goal differential.
Exactly, because
it's stupid. Now you still have 10 goals on Forest. Now Leicester
has a very good goal differential.
Has a good goal differential.
They have the best goal differential of the bunch.
Of
That's
those
the
bottom
one
5,
thing that could save them. But they also don't seem to be getting out of their own way is their problem.
No, they're bad.
No.
They brought in Soyuncu like it was going to fix something.
You stopped playing Soyuncu because
fucking
it was
Vegeta.
broke.
Yeah, he's got the hairline of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. It's terrible, that thing.
But
for the sideshow Bob that Voutface is, he is the anime version.
It's very good. I love it.
As opposed to animated.
So this was very simply put with Liverpool and Leeds. This was a good offense terrorizing a bad defense.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, and you're not wrong with the Alexander Arnold. There's a lot of argument that could be made that was a handball and that goal should never counted.
At the same token, at 2-0, right, with the run you have coming up, and you have this goal difference, which serves as an extra point, and you are the highest up in the table of these 5 clubs.
You can't then go give up
Damage
6.
control is a massive thing, especially when you give up 5 to Palace, who had scored no more than 2 in any game this season.
Yeah, precisely.
You have to damage control, and they did not do it. They completely capitulated, and Liverpool were scoring for fun. I had a couple phone calls to make for work. I was listening to this on the way home in the car on Sirius XM. And every time I got off the phone, it pauses and then it'll restart. I'd hit go live, and it was in again. Another goal. The other thing is I put $5 real American dollars on this on the old FanDuel. Okay. You want to know what my bet was?
What?
Liverpool to win. Over 2.5 goals total in the game. Gakpo and Salah to both score. And then over 4.5 corners. Leeds were so bad defensively that Liverpool didn't have 1 corner till stoppage time.
Holy shit.
And finished the game with 2. And all of the hard stuff, like picking 2 fucking goal scorers, happened in the first half. All of it.
All you needed was just 4
corners for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I had the away team over 3.5.
And they had 2.
They had 2. And they came in stoppage time. Because Leeds were so bad defensively, it was either...
They couldn't block a ball away. They just let it go in the net.
No, right. It was either a goal kick because Liverpool fucked up and missed it, or it was a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was nothing in between. And it was just the absolute capitulation by Leeds was ridiculous. I don't know what they were on about today and why. As such an experienced manager who already has a relegation on his CV, why would you play like that?
I
just don't get it.
It seemed like he had kind of fixed the bad defensive mistakes, but those just keep seemingly haunting this team. It's bad goals at times where you just go, how the fuck, man? And then if they ain't going to score goals, if they're not going to score goals, they're in real fuck trouble.
Big time.
Real
Their
fuck
defense
trouble.
is garbage. We sang Meslier's praises for being a shot stopper and this, that, and the other. He's a shell of himself these last few weeks.
So those five teams,
what he's doing.
Those 5 teams at the bottom, the only thing they have that
Get dug in.
that they could be pleased about. That's Leeds, Everton, Forest, Leicester, and Southampton. The only thing they can look at themselves and say about this weekend that is the slightest positive is, at least everybody else around us lost.
Right.
Sure money.
This is getting old.
Not good gambling.
I'm $3,000 down.
Terrible with money.
This is getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might can the segment next year. Getting kind of
That'll
tired
make
of
the
it.
show go faster.
How did you do, good sir?
How did I do? Well, I hit, and my only mistake is that I didn't take over 7.5 total goals. That's the only mistake I made in this match.
Over 6.5.
Over 6.5.
Because
I'm sorry.
7.5 you would have lost.
I would have
You
lost.
would have kept form with the rest of us.
Oh, very good. I'm only down $1,375.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Mr. Graham, are you aware that 13.793103% of the time works 100% of the time? I very, very much wanted to take Liverpool, but because we do the bets on Monday, they don't give us goal scorer action yet. So
Correct. Yeah,
I'm
it's
kind
a
of
pain in the ass.
So I'm trying to do overs, and I'm like, I got to do a 4-leg parlay just to get fucking $200 odds, because they're like minus 550 against Forest at home. Like, it's just, there's.
I mean, I know Pat was complaining about the odds this last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's justified.
Yeah, I can't do anything with it. So unfortunately, I want to keep with the bit, but there's nothing I can do that makes any sense at all to like win $165.
Well, here we go, Mel. This is why we leave this segment to me, okay?
Right,
We'll find out at the end, because I found some odds, and it's only a 3-legger.
Okay, very good. So for me, I am taking a different direction. Give me Fulham to beat Leeds and Villa to beat Brentford at plus 544.
All right.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Got 2 of my 3 legs.
There we go. See, but the bit with Liverpool though is to be just Liverpool is the bit, but I just couldn't make that work.
I gotcha.
So very good.
All right, sounds good. So Mr. Pat's a bit tied up, I guess. So I've got his email here.
He is playing baseball or watching baseball or something involved with baseball.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Or in all likelihood, betting on baseball.
Yeah. This is what happens when you try to run a soccer show based in America. Stick to the fucking bit, man. Come on. All right. So Pat emailed his bet in. Easy 2-game parlay to get back to winning. Okay.
Does he say how much he's down?
No. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. So my bets last week were utter failures. No surprise.
Yes, they were.
And I'm down $1,500 now.
I'm in the lead.
Everton really shite the bed this week.
Yes, they did.
So now I'm going to make a 2-game parlay to try and turn this train wreck around. First, I'll take Liverpool minus 2.5 goals against Forest.
Okay.
And I'll take Aston Villa over Brentford. It's nothing crazy, but I have to get back in the win column. That pays out on a $100 bet, $570.
Okay.
You guys have a wonderful week, and we'll talk next week when I'm sure there won't be any baseball. Dick. Absolute dick. So that's old Pat's. Not a bad bet.
No.
I don't mind it, especially after Liverpool's display today. But what did they do in the 3 results following the 9-0 to Bournemouth?
Not much.
Not much. So we'll see.
And couple that with the fact that Keylor Navas is in goal, and that's a big difference from Meslier.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big fucking difference.
I still think he should
They
hit.
could win by 3. They should win by 3, but Navas does one of them stand on his head games, and they still win, but they win 1 or 2-0, and that's it. You know,
Could be. Yep. All right. So my Dort Spyret Cup of Losers is fucking Arsenal. God damn it. Oh, and just continuing that theme, I did the entire West Ham Arsenal off the cuff, off off the top of the head because the only thing I can manage to write for my notes, in case you want to see, is man, fuck. That was my hard-hitting analysis.
Right there. Man, fuck.
Yeah. So
Don't tell us about what you like to do on the weekend, Graham.
I like to man fuck. So what I have...
I mean, with that hair, yeah, probably.
You got it now?
I made the joke about half an hour ago that your hair is getting very close to Einstein level.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little puffy today, too.
Jay mentioned that it's about to stand straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So sorry, I had Taylor's 4 sausages in my head. So once again,
don't give that man fuel, man. You just gave him ammunition.
So that's why it's fun. Come on, because again, I don't care. Go ahead, make fun of me. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Arsenal to cover the spread of -2.5. So Arsenal will beat Southampton by 3 or more goals.
Okay.
I think that will happen. I think we will see a response. I think all week is going to be drilling into their heads that they need to not be fucking shite again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that when you score 2 goals, the best thing to do
is keep scoring.
Score a 3rd goal.
Yeah. And whoever's the first person to foul James Ward-Prowse between 17 and 20 yards from goal is going to get their fucking head ripped off.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because that's the only way I foresee Southampton scoring against us.
Agreed very much.
So Arsenal will cover the spread at 2.5. The other 2 are Fulham over Leeds and Villa over Brentford in my 3-leg parlay.
Okay, so you took exactly what I took in that regard.
That's what I said, yeah. And Villa and Fulham offered obviously good odds. That Arsenal, after these last 2 weeks, covering the spread of -2.5, tripled the odds. So I'm a plus 1507.
Wow, very
on
good.
On those 3, yep.
1507. If you hit and I hit, you'll still be behind me.
That's fine, but I'll more than half my deficit because I'm down
good.
$3,000 right now.
Very good. Well, hopefully Arsenal fucks off your part of the bet, and the other 2 parts still hit.
If they do it again,
well, no, just win 1-0. I'd like that.
No,
you can win.
Listen, let me tell you something. If they don't cover this bet, if the Arsenal fuck me again. Enjoy Alan Giannis next week on the DU Football Show, okay?
That's it. You're done.
I'm fucking over it for a week. I'm signing off.
Heard. Very good.
JK.
You know who never signs off? Kitty the chicken.
Well, Kitty missed a big match with Arsenal, and so she sits at 14-16. So this week, I gave Kitty Liverpool hosting Forest. Now, Kitty begrudgingly admitted she has not been doing great. And while she rarely agrees with the guy...
No, she doesn't.
She has noticed that he's had some success.
Yeah.
I don't know if 13% is what a chicken qualifies as success.
Well, the way this season's going, that's great success.
Great success.
You've had some success with betting Liverpool, and although she's never pledged any allegiance to a club, she does admit she can tolerate Liverpool, so she's going to take them to win.
Okay, there we go. Interesting call.
Yeah, well, it's all that Bible study she's been doing with Russ. Do you know what they pray for?
What do they pray for?
They pray that you guys finally learn how to gamble legally and responsibly.
Ain't happening.
Championship corner!
I've fallen, and I can't get up. Oh, no.
Oh, while you're pulling it up there, Mr. Graham.
Say, did anybody know that Burnley won the league?
Yep, they did. Burnley's they won. You know how they won the league? It was very interesting. What's the facer? God, why am I forgetting the coach's name?
Vincent
Company. Put out
the brain.
Yeah,
from Pinky and the Brain.
Well, you want to know what he did? The old brain, fucking mind games at work. He put out a bunch of kind of the reserve guys. And when he was asked about it at the end, it's like, oh, are you resting players? And so he's like, no, I want players to show me that they're worthy to play in the Premier League next year. We have a lot of decisions to make.
I like it.
You just want a title. Fuck you. Prove you want to be there. Like,
what are we doing today, Brain? Trying to take over the world. Pinky.
What we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Exactly. Yeah, I also find it quite funny that Craig Bellamy is Pinky in this mind fuck.
What are we doing today, parade?
Brilliant. All right, so we started off with a drubbing on Friday afternoon. Middlesbrough beating Norwich City 5-1. So Dean Smith getting fucked all over the shop here.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
On Saturday, Sheffield United 4-1 over Cardiff. Blackpool 1-0 over Wigan. Maybe I'll start betting the championship instead.
Yeah, you might actually hit something.
Blackpool over Wigan 1-0. Millwall 2-0 over Preston. Coventry 3-0 over QPR. Burnley and Reading, reserve guys, 0-0.
Yep.
Well done.
Got the title.
Luton 2-0 over Rotherham. West Brom 2-1 over Stoke. Sunderland 2-1 over Birmingham. Swansea City 1-0 over Huddersfield. It's a shame the Warlock lost. Watford 2-0 over Bristol City. Blackburn and Hull 0-0. And then there's games tomorrow. There was nothing on Sunday or Monday. So that leaves your table looking like Burnley are top. Sheffield United in second place on 79 points. Burnley, on 91 with a plus 20 over Sheffield United. Plus 48 is our actual goal differential. Sheffield United's at plus 28. So very close to wrapping up the title for properly here. Yeah. Obviously, I think actually they're only one game away.
Yeah, I believe it's one game
Looks
away.
like, yeah. Luton Town is in third now on 74 points with a plus 17. So pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot. Middlesbrough in fourth on a plus 28 with 71 points. Millwall in fifth on 65 with a plus
big
9.
Win over Preston North End. Preston was one of the teams in the conversation.
Huge. Blackburn.
Irish kid Tom Cannon from Everton has been scoring like crazy since he's been loaned over to Preston North End. Been a lot of their success.
You haven't thought of an emergency loan recall?
We had him play a game. You know what he did? Very little, because he's a 19-year-old fucking kid. He ain't ready to play in the Premier.
Tell that to Ferguson.
Yeah, exactly.
Down at Brighton.
Yeah.
Or in CISO, down at Brighton.
Heard. Very good.
Or Casado, down at Brighton.
That's a team that knows how to pick talent and nurture talent. We know how to manage show tunes. Cats. Please, I'm sorry for interrupting.
You're good. So Blackburn's in sixth on 63 points, but they have a -2, which could come into big-time play here. Coventry are in seventh because Blackburn's now, at this point, rounding out the playoff spots.
Right.
You have Coventry also on 62 points, so just a point behind. Now, Blackburn have played a game more. Or, I'm sorry, a game less. Blackburn have a game in hand on Coventry, is what I was trying to say. But Coventry have a +9. Preston North End are tied with Coventry on points, 62. Same number of games, 42 games played. But Preston North End have a -6.
Ooh.
So things have to go quite wrong for Coventry to let the goal differential get upturned.
Mm-hmm.
Can Blackburn, with that sort of goal return, are they going to be able to win that game in hand? Don't know.
Right.
Their defense obviously isn't as good. So things are very tight at the end of the playoff race there. Sunderland on 61 points, Norwich on 61 points, both with positive goal differentials also. So one win takes them above Blackburn, pushes Blackburn out. You have West Brom on 60. Again, one win ties them. West Brom have a +7. You have Watford in 12th place on 59 points with a +4.
Mm-hmm.
These are all it's very, very tight for that final playoff spot.
It is.
And really up to Millwall on 65 with how many games there are left, which for Millwall, Middlesbrough, and Luton Town, you only have 48. You only have 6 games left. Blackburn and West Brom have 7 games left.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an interesting thing to see who finishes, an interesting race to see who finishes in the playoff spots. In the bottom half of the table, really the basement, not the bottom half, Wigan are just about relegated, I believe. They are on 34 points with a max 42 games played. Blackpool are on 38 points. Both of them have the worst goal differential in the league, bar QPR. Reading are in 22nd on 42. They are tied on points with Cardiff, but Cardiff do have a game in hand and have a slightly better goal differential than them. QPR in 20th on 43 points. With the worst goal differential, minus Wigan, of course, QPR on a -27, so they can get drugged back into it with Reading. Clearing, should they win their next game. Huddersfield are also on 43 points, but they have a much better minus 19 than QPR. I think Huddersfield will be safe, and Neil Warnock did it again. But they're still in the conversation. Rotherham aren't completely out of it on 45 points, but they've got a minus 10, and they do have a game in hand as well, so they should be relatively safe going into these final few games of the season. So you're really looking at Huddersfield down through. Reading is going to be the problem. Blackpool and Wigan, like I said, are pretty much already relegated. They're 4 points behind Blackpool, that is, 4 points from safety, and they've played the max number of games, and they have a shit goal differential.
Yeah, not good.
Not a good look.
No, not
so
at all.
We'll see. And then Wigan are even worse than that. They're 4 points behind Blackpool.
Ooh.
So they're 8 points from safety.
Yeah, they're going down. That's
with the worst goal differential in the division.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before they get, you have the big R, red R next to their name.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
And he's from there, yeah?
Yeah, that's his club.
That's it.
That's his club. All right, so that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
I don't think so. I think everybody was relatively cool this week.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any problems. Oh, you know what? Todd Bowley, actually. Spent about an hour, they said, in the Chelsea dressing room after the game.
Okay.
Why?
You're
Get
the
out.
owner.
Just sign the checks.
Yeah.
Sign the checks and get out.
You hire a manager. Well, I mean,
let him in.
Frank.
It's Frank.
Frank's probably going, well, it was a close game, guys. We'll be all right.
You hire the dinner lady.
Hey, it was a really special moment at Goodison when Everton stayed up. Yeah. That's about what he can offer as a manager. So when you're battling relegation, we'll figure out a way to keep you up just before the death.
I heard something ridiculous that he's lost like 16 of his last 18 games in charge.
That doesn't
clubs.
surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad news.
Anything from the listening audience, Mrs. Houston?
Carrie says, big up Sam and big ups to you. Villa is ballin'.
Yep. Villa fucks. We know this.
I argue Villa's fucking, but I'll take it. Somebody said Sam Graham's hair is getting closer to Einstein hair.
Yep. You mentioned that already.
That was me.
We covered that.
That was me. I forgot. Jason Jardon gave me some credit for having a No Malort T-Mel Monday.
Yep.
And compliments.
He had Malort.
I had no Malort.
Oh, gave credit to you specifically.
Oh, yeah, me specifically.
I didn't have Malort either.
I know.
I also didn't cry. Just saying.
I think he's still waiting for that. It would be very good for the subscribers if you could force out a tear.
No.
Like, what were you doing on Sunday? Because Nicole told me.
Nothing.
She told me she cried.
I didn't cry.
You did?
No, I didn't.
Damn it.
I cried wolf.
Oh. And Christian said we were way too early tonight.
Yeah, we were a little early tonight.
Sorry to mess up your schedule.
Sorry, Sam had a normal day of work. Our apologies.
For the first time in 8 weeks.
And we're actually going to get done in time that Mel can put the chickens to bed before it starts.
Yeah, I just got a text from Kitty saying, hey, lady, it's getting dark.
Yep, I hear you. So that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us. Next up is Injury Time, where we're going to talk about the beers we've been drinking. We're going to check in on our adopted clubs. And, of course, we preview the weekend's action, including the FA Cup semifinals. Sam, should somebody want to find Injury Time, how do they go about doing it?
It is www.patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $1 tier. You get both of our extra shows, one of which is Sound Check, which is our actual sound check, catching up from the week, making fun of each other, usually some inappropriateness, which there was this week again, and then Injury Time, which sometimes gets referred to as DU After Dark, which is our preview. We check on the adopted clubs, as you say, the old Ibs in Scotland, Hibernian, and Real Betis in Spain. So it's a lot of fun. We have a good time. You
forgot the most important one.
Oh, Accrington Stanley.
Who are they?
Leighton Orient of the North.
No, remember the commercial. Accrington Stanley, who are they? Exactly.
I did forget about that. That's funny. They are the Leighton Orient of the North, and we happen to know somebody that works for them.
Absolutely. And we are putting out the Ben K interview this week, correct?
Yes. You want to go out on Thursday?
That sounds great. Let's have it out on Thursday for everyone, for the whole listening public.
But you know what is out there right now for anyone's listening pleasure?
What's that?
First episode of the Naptown Blues fan cast.
Oh, yes. Very true. The new local team. Let's see here. Yep, there you go. Napolis Blues FC. covering all the ins and outs of the new club coming to the Annapolis area. Got to sit down with the primary owner, Michael Hitchcock, also known as Hitch, to discuss that. And finally, before we leave, do make sure you go to the DU Drip Shack, buy all the flyest gear, like our girl Cole did. Had her DU pint glass at the Abbey.
At the Abbey. So there was me at the Abbey, and there was cartoon me at the Abbey.
Yep. And she also brought cartoon me to the Dark Horse when we hung out and had a great time. And committing to the bit, she was wearing a Pro Arsenal Agenda shirt.
Yes, she was.
Would it be weird if I got your cartoon thing on a pillow and started sleeping with it?
Yes.
Less work for me.
Because that is an option on the DU Drip Shack.
Less work for me.
So if you want to sleep with me, buy a pillow.
Till next week, everybody.
Good night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!
If you want to sleep with me, buy a pillow.